I'm Christine Persichetti. It's almost back to school time, so a Brooklyn nonprofit wants to make sure kids are ready. Reaching Out Community Services held a school supply drive today, handing out hundreds of backpacks to school kids. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has more from Bensonhurst.
A line formed around the block from Reaching Out Community Services, with parents and children holding their vouchers.
Does everybody have their tickets?
Families waited patiently for new backpacks and school supplies.
We're all ready to get your big backpack.
We get school supplies that could really help us in our school year because our old backpacks are too old and small for the new supplies that we're going to get for school.
Which color?
For 28 years, the organization has been helping out struggling families. This year, they expect to help 600 children. But every year, the demand grows.
Everything costs more than the previous years, and that's why our supply, inventory is less than has been years ago. More kids, less supplies.
Alex Cedillo, along with his 3 siblings and mom, waited for 2 hours in the rain for a chance to stock up. The 9th grader said his family couldn't afford to pay out of pocket.
We needed it, and for every one of them, because we're having a bit struggles on money and for school supplies.
Eunice Brown says the annual event is a big help that will save her money.
Maybe like $60, very expensive. Everything get very expensive.
The nonprofit also runs a food pantry. Councilmember Justin Brannon contributed $116,000 on behalf of the city council so they can keep their various services going.
COVID might be in our rearview mirror, but the demand is still very much there, and that's not just food, right? That's also for school supplies.
Now these students are ready to start the new school year.
We want nothing but A's.
In Bensonhurst, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Hundreds turned out this week to protest against a plan to house migrants in a former Catholic school on Staten Island. Curtis Sliwa spoke to the crowd outside the planned migrant shelter at the former St. John Villa Academy. As many as 300 adults seeking asylum could start being placed there as soon as this weekend. Meanwhile, Governor Kathy Hochul spoke about the migrant crisis on Thursday, saying she's putting pressure on the White House for help.
The reality is we've managed thus far without substantive support from Washington. And despite the fact that this is a national, indeed an inherently federal issue. But New York has shouldered this burden for far too long.
Hochul says she has written a letter formally requesting that the Biden administration take executive action to address the migrant crisis. The governor wants financial assistance for the city and state, including reimbursement for deploying the state's National Guard, as well as the use of federal land and facilities as temporary shelters. She's also asking the president to expedite work authorization for the asylum seekers. In Nicaragua, the government expelled the Society of Jesus from the country. The Jesuits are calling this an act of aggression and a crime against humanity. This comes a week after the Nicaraguan government seized a Jesuit-run university. Now they're taking all of the order's property and assets. The government called the Roman Catholic order illegal and said they failed to comply with tax laws. The Jesuits said they were not given an opportunity for defense and legal procedures were not carried out. Days after an anti-Christian riot devastated a community in Pakistan, hundreds of Pakistani Catholics gathered for a mass outside of a burned church. The attack on August 16th destroyed dozens of churches and hundreds of homes. It started because 2 Christians were accused of destroying the Quran, Islam's holy book. Christians fled their homes, hiding in sugarcane fields for days. 4 days later, more than 700 Catholics celebrated the Eucharist together. One Christian community leader said that most people wept during the Mass. Now to the Eternal City. Ukrainians celebrated their Independence Day with a Mass in Rome. Bishop Halib Lankana presided and spoke about the day.
We are celebrating the 32nd anniversary of the independence of Ukraine. And of course, it's a very happy celebration because the Ukrainians have been striving for centuries to be an independent nation. But on the other hand, it is mixed with sorrow because of the ongoing war in Ukraine.
The Ukrainian ambassador to the Holy See thanked the Vatican for the ongoing peace mission. After Mass, the people sang Ukraine's national anthem. Now to Hawaii, where utility companies in Maui are now facing a lawsuit over the deadly wildfires. Maui County filed suit against 4 Maui and Hawaiian electric and light companies, saying they ignored high wind watch and red flag warnings from the National Weather Service. They're also accused of acting negligently by not powering down their equipment in the area. Maui County says that inaction led to the loss of life, severe injuries, the destruction of homes, and damage to historic and cultural sites. The complaint estimates the cost to rebuild at upwards of $5 billion. If you want to help the people in Maui, you can go to the Diocese of Honolulu's website. That's CatholicHawaii.org. You'll see a button labeled Support the Maui Wildfire Relief Efforts on the bottom right. A Brooklyn native from St. Rita's Parish in East New York is beginning her journey to become a part of the Salesian Sisterhood. Jessica Castillo is profiled in this week's tablet, sharing her spiritual journey to becoming a nun. She describes the moment that set in motion her desire to be a part of the order's ministry. Also highlighted in the paper, St. Clair Church in Rosedale. The parish is marking 100 years as a community of faith in 2024. Find out how the parish has evolved over the past century and how it's celebrating this milestone. From news to personal stories, the tablet is the paper for parishioners in the Diocese of Brooklyn. So be sure to pick up the paper at your local church this weekend. You can also support the tablet thanks to their membership program. To learn more about it and find out everything you can get with your donation, just go to thetablet.org/become-a-member. A programming note now, in case you missed it, on Friday, September 1st at 7 and 10 p.m., we'll re-air our World Youth Day special.
My prayer life definitely will be changed. I think when I pray, I'll be praying more deeply and more from the heart.
More than 1.5 million people made the pilgrimage to Portugal. We're taking a look back at this year's World Youth Day through the eyes of the Diocese of Brooklyn. And we're looking ahead 4 years to Seoul, South Korea. That's Friday, September 1st at 7 and 10. And before we go, do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number 718-517-3122. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.